Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is CelebC here doing another video episode of Growing for Freedom. And I just wanted to do a quick video update here from the 4,000 watt moneymaker. And this, of course, is the grow that started out as Aptis but has now been transitioned over to advanced nutrients. And we are coming up to what I would consider is somewhat of a critical time here in this grow. So I just felt that I should jump in and do a couple more additional video updates just to fill in everybody as to the progress and my actions as we get through this stage. So essentially we had made the switch over to advanced nutrients about 3 days ago, and in that video we went over in detail the specifics of that mix. And today I decided to jump ahead a little bit early to give the plants their diluted mix. Remember, after every full strength feeding, whatever is left over in the reservoir, we displace that with fresh water and then go ahead and proceed to water the plants. But sometimes taking advantage of the diluted reservoir to spike a couple of additives. In this case, deciding to add 5 milliliters per gallon of Botanicare CalMag Plus as well as their Sweet Raw. So 250 milliliters of each of those products added to the diluted reservoir. So definitely not very much. In terms of max dosage, or as it concerns the dosages used, I think Sweet Raw maxes out at like 20 mils per gallon. The CalMag Plus minimum strength is 5 milliliters per gallon. So obviously not using those things too high, but we are obviously trying to push up the calcium and the magnesium a little bit since it is things that the plants generally like, SFEOG specifically, especially when they're dealing with hard times. So I think that the overall greening up has been happening very slowly, but it's not that terribly noticeable. I think that right now I've noticed anyways, that the bud sites seem to still have a lot of dark green foliage around them. It's just the outer fan leaves which tend to be a little more problematic. But I'm hoping with these spikers and this change of feeding that we should start to see improvement. But the reason why I decided to jump in and do the freshwater, or the diluted reservoir feeding now, was to, number one, just to dilute the plants a little bit off the full strength mix. They have not been given this specific regimen so far since they were put into bloom. So I didn't want to necessarily have them sitting with that mix too long as the plants decided to dry out. And the other reason why is also because we started to press the reflectors a little bit closer to the plants. So we have dropped the hoods at this point about, I'd say, probably about 8 inches or so on average, which makes a pretty big difference. Definitely pressing a lot more now on the plants, and we can see that a couple more buds are now starting to crack through the trellis there a little bit. Still not getting too many, but I think that if we continue on this pace through the next week or so, we should get a lot more coming through. And honestly, guys, if we get a fair amount of buds coming through the 5-foot mark of the trellis, that's definitely a good sign, because that means that there's a lot of budding area below. And if the nutrient regimen does what it has done before in the past, we will definitely get a pretty good turnaround here on this grow. Probably similar to what we had gotten running this regimen over at the Site B location when we did it. That's my prediction anyways, and that was about 4.65 or so pounds. Although I'm not sure we're going to get quite there, but if I'm getting probably 4.5, just as long as I get 4 solid vendable with a little bit of personal for myself that's not complete trash bud, I'd be pretty happy with that. And I think that we're on pace, but we have to continue on. Now, another thing that I want to mention too, as far as reasonings to get this fresh water in maybe a day or so early, is because I'm kind of debating right now on whether or not I want to give the plants another big bud feeding regimen or to simply transition them over to overdrive. And keep in mind that generally speaking, during these specific weeks, this is about the time that the plants would normally be transitioning over to overdrive. But this has not been a run-of-the-mill grow, so I am debating on maybe running them with Big Bud for another week, and a lot of that really depends on exactly how the plants look after this, I'd say 5-day window. Generally speaking, guys, when the plants have been given a diluted watering such as this, they will generally stay wetter a little bit longer than they will on a full strength feeding. And these plants, because of their situation, have not been the most aggressive in regards to transpiring moisture. So I feel that 5 days would be pretty adequate for them to dry off, and we should see significant change. Remember, we've done the full strength feeding plus the diluted feeding with not a huge amount of runoff, but obviously catering to what I believe are the plant's needs. But given this next window of time, like I said, this is a very critical stage. We're going to see the plants hopefully change a lot for the better, and no matter what happens, we're going to get a much clearer picture, I think, of how this grow is going to develop. And to be honest, I don't even want to see this grow, for the next 5 days. I'm going to try to just come in here and dump out the AC bucket that fills up with water there, and just do that in darkness, and not even look at the plants, and hopefully just be able to see them exactly 5 days later with the lights on, and that way I can kind of prepare I guess I'll be able to see the change more definitively than, because sometimes when you see your plants every day, it gets difficult to, to see them change. But if you don't see them for 5 days, hopefully you'll see great things. And that's what I'm kind of expecting here, or at least hoping for, because if we can turn this thing around, it would be pretty awesome. And although I know we're not going to be breaking any records with this one, but still, it's always good to make the best of a bad situation. So that is pretty much it, guys, for this video update. Next video update, we're going to be heading back over to the Epic 4K at Site B, where we're going to be checking on those plants. We might actually be watering them. Not exactly sure yet, because I have to go check up on them. But that is pretty much it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.